Why the Vietnam War started was because of the domino theory. The domino theory stated that if another country was to follow communism, the rest will soon follow. So the U.S. took over when the French stopped fighting the Vietnam War. But it was a tough war because we came into a losing battle, which is why the anti-war movement started.
My name is Brian. In 1969, U.S. President Nixon attempted a new strategy to end the U.S. involvement with the Vietnam War. The strategy was called Vietnamization. The name Vietnamization came about accident. The plan was to train, equip, and expand South Vietnamese forces so that they could take over more military responsibilities for their own defense against the North Communists, and at the same time allowed the U.S. gradually withdraw its combat troops from South Vietnam.
A lot of things happened during the Vietnam War. The war had an impact on Americans as well. Some of the young Americans took action instead of sitting around doing nothing. The young Americans started an anti-war movement. The anti-war movement was basically against U.S. involvement in the war after they bombed Vietnam. Many small peaceful protests began to take place. They also started using symbols to express their feelings. For example, they started to use the peace symbol. The peace symbol was originally designed by the British Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, CND. Many activists distinguish between anti-war movements and peace movements. Anti-war activists work through protests and other means to attempt to pressure a government to put an end to a conflict. That is what the anti-war movement is all about. A lot of people express their feelings towards the Vietnam War through rock and roll music. Rock and roll had a huge impact during the Vietnam War. Many rock and roll songs were created and sung about peace. It became a new method of protest. A big concert event happened at the University of California at Berkeley on March 25, 1966, in the late 1960s. Several influential artists appeared to the countercultures on peace and love. In one of those artists' songs, it talked about how the war was affecting them. Because mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and daughters are beyond your command. Also, a 1966 anti-war music poster advertised to popular rock groups Jefferson Airplane and Mystery Trend. The event, a benefit dance held at the University of California at Berkeley on March 25, 1966, features a large war scene drawing at the center. The war scene, colored in red, white, and black, features combats wearing helmets and holding machine guns while avoiding explosions triggered by bombers flying overhead. At the top of the scene, the words Vietnam can be seen in the same font that the military uses. Below Vietnam, the word peace can be scrawled in white lettering. Also, a major part of the Vietnam War was the Tet Offensive. That was one of the largest military campaigns of the Vietnam War, launched on January 30th, 1968, by forces of the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese People's Army of Vietnam against the forces of South Vietnam, the United States, and their allies. It was a campaign of surprise attacks against military civilian commands and control centers throughout South Vietnam. The name of the offensive comes from the Tet holiday. The Vietnamese New Year, when the first major attacks took place.